Frank, we're back for number 86 on your list. It's Mr. Brooks. Mr. Brooks is a 2007 crime thriller directed by Bruce A. Evans and starring Kevin Costner, William Hurt, Demi Moore, Dane Cooke, Marg Helgenberger, Danielle Panabaker, and more. In Mr. Brooks, a serial killer struggles with the inner voice that makes him want to kill, while trying to appease a witness to his crime who is hoping to learn Mr. Brooks' secrets. Your thoughts on Mr. Brooks are? Awesome premise. Costner and Hurt are brilliant. It's ruined by Demi Moore and Dane Cooke. It's like the good version and a bad version were combined to make one movie. This is Dexter the movie. The whole thing is very Dexter-esque. I don't know if you've ever seen that show, but it's basically about a serial killer who exists in real life, has a job, has relationships, and has to figure out how to do his killing, without anybody knowing it. I guess the big difference is that Dexter has a code that he lives by as far as who he can kill, and Mr. Brooks seems to not have that. It's basically just whoever he decides. Like, he goes around and watches people and observes people, and he finds somebody that he wants to murder, and he murders them. So little different, thing. One of the notes that I wrote down on here, which I'll just read because it's kind of complex, is tries to play out a murder mystery through the lens of the killer, which eliminates all suspense and invalidates the point of the scenes with Demi Moore trying to figure it out. So yeah, that's and that kind of goes back to what you were saying in your thoughts on it. The fact that, like, Demi Moore, there's literally no point to Demi Moore's character being in this film at all. Like, there's no point in having a police investigation. You already know who the killer is. You know what his motives are. There's no mystery to it. And her character, on top of being basically a pointless detective, is also a detective who's apparently has like millions of dollars from family wealth, and they try to explain it off as like she wanted to prove herself to her father, and she was really good at like investigating and being a detective, so this is what she slipped into. But it's like, I'm sorry, if you have millions of dollars in your pocket, like, you don't spend your time being a local police detective. Maybe that's just me, but like, I just don't see that happening. And, again, also the fact that, like, there's no mystery to solve here. There's no reason for her to be involved at all in any way. I'm not hating on Demi Moore. Her presence, her character's presence in that film just doesn't make any sense. So I feel like the film is trying to elaborate on her character as well. They set up this whole sort of enemy for her to have outside of the Mr. Brooks investigation, which basically just adds to the running time, but doesn't add anything to the story itself. And it also leads to the most boring shootout scene I have ever seen in a movie ever. It takes place in an apartment hallway, and it is absolutely just stunningly bland. If I could ever point someone to the way not to shoot a shootout scene, Mr. Brooks would be it. Probably the last thing that I would say about Mr. Brooks is that I was constantly expecting there to be a twist. These kinds of movies and TV shows seem to always be focused or moving towards that, where it's like, there's going to be something somewhere where there's going to be a twist. And this one didn't really have that. It kind of tries to set something up that ends up just being like a dream and not real, but there's no actual twist anywhere in this movie, which in a way is kind of a disappointment because you expect it to happen. In another way, I'm like, well, good on them for just sticking straight with the story and not trying to pull off something that, to be honest with you, probably wouldn't have worked anyway. I think in a way, like, even though I was expecting a twist, I kind of breathed a sigh of relief that there wasn't one. Kevin Costner is good in this. He has like an awkwardness to his performance that I actually really liked. And you could tell that he was trying to do something. I think you said, Frank, that William Hurt is acting for a much better movie than this is. And I would agree with that. But yeah, the script to this, I think, is just overly complex. And there's a lot of aspects of it that are just unnecessary. A good rewrite probably would have made this film a lot better. In the end, I don't know that I would recommend it, because I just kind of feel like you're better off like watching the good seasons of Dexter than watching this. The good seasons of Dexter are all much better made and more satisfying, telling basically the same story than Mr. Brooks is. All right, Frank, next up on your list is the Tony Scott film, The Last Boy Scout. So until next time, Frank, and whoever else is watching, you can like, comment, share, subscribe. You can do all those things, and I will see you in the next one.